What is up, everybody? Mikey there, Panzernator here with Dapeeks,
What's up?
and time to continue our Hearts of Iron 4 guide. So I'm just gonna draw some quick orders. We'll just tell you to do that. Have Heinz Guderian is gonna take a visit to Lithuania, just because I feel like it, and the Mountaineers can prepare for Operation Tannenbaum. Or whatever. I'm just doing this just to have everyone kind of ordered out. So now what we can do is we can unpause. I'm going to keep it at speed 1 just for now, but we need to figure some things out. So notice remember how we had 6 divisions training?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to bump that up to the maximum, which is 22. Actually, let's go down to 12 and do that. Let's do that 4 times. How many tanks? We have what? 1 Panzer division, 3 Panzers, and 1 SS. I'm gonna train 11 SS divisions, or 8. That 8's good too. And that's the most divisions we can train. The divisions you can train at one time are limited based upon how much army how much of a military you have in the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. Notice how we still have 1 oil missing from Venezuela.
Yeah.
We could address that now, or we're trying to order oil from Venezuela. We could address that now, but we're also building. Okay, wait, what the hell is this? Unfulfilled import requirement.
Was the line against Switzerland intentional?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna kill them.
Okay.
Eventually. What's the problem here? Too low trade influence. Oh, so Siam doesn't like us, so they're not giving us as much rubber. So I'm gonna buy from someone else. For some reason, the Dutch East Indies like us more than Siam, or they just have more to sell. It's one of the two. So notice our armies are going to their locations, and they're just basically getting ready. Okay. So notice all of our navies are now in the same port next to Seton.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is, if you select them all, there's a merge button next to the X. So there's the 4 orders, and then there's the merge button. So just go ahead and click merge. Or if you just highlight over them and press G.
Damn it. I don't know what I just did. You do it.
Okay, no, you're going to do this. Find the fleet.
Okay, press the Navy thing up by the globe.
No. You don't have to find the Navy thing. Do you see the fleet in Saturn?
Yes.
Click on it.
Okay.
It comes up with a screen with the individual fleets, right?
Yeah.
Notice.
Oh, then just press select on all of them.
Well, they should all be selected. Click on the merge selected fleet button. Kind of the top right of that menu. There you go. So so all of your fleets are in 1 fleet, which is perfectly fine. You can assign a commander just like you did a general.
Yeah.
I'd assign Eric Rader.
Okay.
We'll go over do that if you want to. All right. Now you can have submarines in a regular fleet just like this. I usually like to separate submarines. So you see how it has a list of all the ships and the numbers?
Uh-huh.
Go and right click on submarines.
Okay.
You notice a menu shows up and says select ships to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Just click on all submarines.
All submarines.
Okay, so notice what you did is you created a second submarine fleet. So I'm just gonna rename this the Wolfpack. And I'm going to assign Karl Donitz, because he's the Wolfpack guy, right?
Yep.
Okay, and do you remember how we moved and reassigned navies in the first video?
Yes.
One of the first videos. Okay, so go ahead and change his home port to Vesser Ems, our furthest east port, and then move the submarines there. So control right click to change the home base, and then right click to move them there.
And then right click to move them. Where are we going again?
Vesser Ems. It's the port in Wilhelmshaven
Okay.
in Bremen. It's it's the closest port to the Netherlands.
Yep. Okay. I do it?
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, and now control right click on that port and it'll change their home base to that port. No, that now you're just moving them into the naval province.
What did I do?
Right click on the port. Now hold
Yeah.
control. Okay, you did it.
Yes.
There you go. So everything's good with them. So notice now they're okay. Well, now everyone's moving there. I'm gonna move the Kriegsmarine to Kiel, which is the port on this side of Denmark.
Okay.
Schleswig-Holstein is the port. Well, because that's the state. So basically, the ships are gonna move there instead. Now, go to the production screen.
Production screen.
Shortcut Y or the dude holding the wrench.
Okay, why?
Okay, so notice all of you see like all of the ships at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Notice you see the icon with an anchor and it just says auto.
Yeah.
Click on that for the submarines.
Okay.
So a menu comes up. It didn't change their name. God damn it. Where the hell are they? Okay, let me change their name to Wolfpack. Just real quick. So are you on that menu?
Yeah.
So if you click on that, you can choose to have your ships deploy at any port you want or to deploy directly to a navy. So I'm going to click on our submarines to go directly into the Wolfpack. Now, someone deployed somewhere I don't like. Let's do that. So I'm going to deploy. I'm basically going to tell all of our submarines to go to the Wolfpack and all of our ships to go to the Kriegsmarine. Now, you can select that on your own if you want to. So set our surface ships like the Scharnhorsts and the Deutschland cruiser to deploy to the Kriegsmarine.
Didn't we do this earlier though?
No, we just assigned factories. We didn't do this yet.
Oh my god.
So this will basically tell the ships when they're built. Okay, no, now you assign the cruiser.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, you were saying?
Okay, same thing with the last Scharnhorst. So basically what this means is whenever the ships deploy, they will immediately join that fleet. Now, notice one thing. For like any of the military factories lines, you can go over 15, right? You can go over 15 factories per line.
Okay.
So like just look at our HE-111s. I can, assign 100 infinite factories to it, right?
Yeah.
So you can do that. With ships, you can only assign 15 per line.
Yeah.
You can't have every factory across the entirety of the British Empire each build a screw and then it'll show up as a carrier in London.
Yeah.
So you can only assign so many per navy. You see, notice how there's buttons like for the Wolfpack ±7. What that does is it tells them you can choose how many you want to build. So I'm going to mess with the Wolfpack. So I can tell it to build more submarines, build fewer submarines, or if you go all the way down, it'll do infinite. So it'll just keep cranking out submarines one after the other.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the submarines to infinite and move them to the bottom. So at the very least, submarines like to die a lot. But they're also very cheap to build. So I'm going to put this at the bottom of our priority, and it'll just keep building submarines and sending them to that fleet. So we can kind of ignore that for a while. I just wanted to show that. So that is the submarines. Okay, what else can we do? So we have available planes and reserves, right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is click on any airport, just the one in Brandenburg by Berlin, just because.
Okay. Clicked on it.
Okay, how the screen goes into the air map mode, and in the top left you have the air mission screen where we deleted all the planes, right? Where we unassigned all the planes from Air Wings.
I don't have that.
Well, okay, no, you remember we did that in a previous episode?
Yeah, but it's not popping up.
Okay, well, no, they shouldn't pop up because we don't have any Air Wings deployed. Now, notice, do you see the flashing button? It's an airplane with a plus, and it's kind of pulsing.
Yes.
Add new Air Wing. Click on that.
Okay.
What that does is it shows create a new Air Wing button screen.
Okay.
Now, there are two arrows. So, like, for each one, there's an arrow with, like, a pound sign, and there's an arrow. And there's a big arrow. If you click the big arrow, it'll just assign all airplanes, which you don't want to do. If you if you click the arrow with the pound sign, it'll just add 1. If you control click, it'll add 10. If you shift click, it'll add 100.
Okay.
Notice as you do that, it'll show you how much manpower it takes to deploy that air wing in the bottom right of this screen. Kind of, it's not important. And then you notice how it shows like the number that you have, like 1 whatever out of 1 whatever. And it'll say fighter. It'll show the icon. There'll be the little the ace with the plus. So click on the number where it says like what one, like the one number over another number. What that does, that's the reinforcement limit. So basically what that does is it tells you how big of an air wing you want to deploy.
Okay.
So what you can do is if you just don't want to mess with it, like later on, later on we have so many different models of airplanes, you're like, I don't want to sort through like 50 109A, 30 109Bs that you have. If you just want to if you can just click to add 1, you can click on the set reinforcement limit and set it to the amount you want. It'll only start with 1 plane, but then it'll tell it to reinforce to that amount, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and create an air wing of 200 fighters.
My mouse isn't agile enough for this. Oh, wait a second.
So so what you can do is just shift click on it twice, and then hit enter.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Okay, you created it.
Yeah.
You hit enter.
Close the. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So notice. Okay. So in Brandenburg, you deployed it, right? So click. So if you click on the air wing. You notice how a lot of the map turns red, and then there's like this like yellow dotted circle.
Yeah.
That is the maximum range of your airplanes. Okay. So your airplanes can do any mission in a state so long as part of that air region is within your range. So if you look at the Alpine region, we can barely get to the Alpine region, but we can still technically do missions in it. We'll have a big efficiency debuff because we're not close enough to it, but we can still do that.
Okay.
So click on the blue ace sign. What that is, you clicked on it?
Yep.
That opens up your ace screen. So it shows you all the aces you have in your country. We start off with one, which is lucky. Usually, you have to generate your air wings will generate them as they go on. So you can assign Eric Bubby Hartman to this air wing, or you cannot. So yeah, just go ahead and assign him. It's worse not to have them. You can reorganize the air wing. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. Just like the infantry, you can set the priority. I never changed the priority.
Yep.
So notice how at the top, how some buttons lit up and some didn't, right? Those are the missions you're telling the airplanes to do. Just going left to right, air superiority means shoot down fighters, then bombers. Fighters can do this. Close air support is for close air support or tactical bombers. That basically says, help the ground forces. Interception, it's the opposite of air superiority. Interception means target the bombers first.
Okay.
The next one is strategic bombing. So strategic bombers and tactical bombers can do this. It basically says bomb factories, railroads, whatever.
Yep.
And then that little crosshairs next to it, you can set priorities. You know, it's World War II. You're just dropping a shit ton of bombs and they land where they land. But
Yeah.
you know, it'll prioritize some more than others, and it will slightly weight it. So you can say, don't blow up any of the railroads in where I'm about to take, but focus on the ports or the forts, and like the anti-air in that area or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you have no plan to invade England anytime soon, say, bomb everything to hell. But focus
Yeah.
on the factories, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's that. The next one, the little boat, is naval strike. If you have naval bombers or close air support assigned to a sea region, they'll attack ships in that area.
Kamikaze strike.
Yeah, that's
All right, I think we know what that is.
yeah. It's basically naval strike, but you lose more planes. I never use it. It's kind of just role playing or flavor thing. Port strike. What that'll do is same thing. Naval bombers and tactical bombers. What that'll do is basically just tell your guys to, you know, Pearl Harbor someone, to sail into their port, to fly into the ports and attempt to attack ships that are in the harbor, right?
Uh-huh.
Effectiveness, I usually don't do this. I usually don't mess with this, but whatever. And then finally, the two icons next to the X, there's the one that currently says no retreat. This basically tells your planes what to do. So if you click on it, one more. So basically, no retreat means if you have 200 planes and 199 get shot down, that one plane will still fly. If you click on its normal operations, which is what I normally do, it'll only fly if it has at least 25% of the planes it needs, and then low intensity will only fly at half strength or better.
Okay.
So I usually leave it normal operations. And then the last one, day or night missions. You know, if you want to be like flavorful and be like the British that only bomb the Germans during the night, you can do that. I normally don't mess with it at all. So, how you assign an air wing. So what we can do is I'm going to set it to air superiority. There are two things you can do with fighters and close fighters, with fighters, heavy fighters, close air support, and tactical bombers. With either air superiority, interception, or close air support missions, you can assign them to an army. So if you click on our air wing and right click on our infantry army on our general dude, go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Did you do it yet?
Right click on the ace dude, right?
No, not the ace dude. So click on the fighter wing and go to look at our armies in the bottom middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Right click on one of our generals. So notice how it says, how it has an icon with a 200, right? That means 200 fighters are assigned to that army. What this will do is that means this air wing will move to the closest air base to that army's order and support them in the air regions that it's fighting in.
Yeah.
So say, you're playing the invasion of Russia, you get all your armies set up with close air support and air superiority, but, once you break out of Eastern Poland, you kind of lose track and everything's going. It used to be in the game where you had to manually move your troops up and just assign them to one air wing at a time. Now what this will do is you can basically assign planes to armies and they'll micromanage themselves.
Sounds good.
Which is very nice. Now, alternatively, if you want to have your fight... So, okay, if you look, you see how there's now a yellow line from Brandenburg to that one, and you see like the little airplane that's moving? That signifies our airplanes rebasing.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of see when they'll get there, just kind of a visual aid. And once they get there, their circle will move, and they might... I think they're going to start missions, too, in the air region. So they'll get there, and they'll start a mission. Now, once a mission's going, the air region will either be white, red, green, or yellow. White means there are no active friendly or enemy planes in the region. Red means the enemy has air superiority, green means your planes have air superiority, and yellow means it's kind of wishy-washy. It's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
So, that'll do. Now, say you were to... how do we unassign?
Is there a way to turn off the day or night thing?
Press N.
in.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that because I never use it. So say you
It's telling me just to create a new air wing.
what's that?
It's not turn it off. It's just creating a new air wing.
In? Oh,
Yeah.
don't have anything selected. So just press F1. Also, there's a button in the bottom right hand of your screen.
Okay, that's a lot better.
Okay. Alternatively, you can have your planes assigned to an army, or you can just assign it to a state manually. So say
Okay.
I'm going to move our planes back. Say I want them to defend Eastern Germany from bomber attack. So I move them to an air base in that region or that can service that region, and I right click on that region. Those planes will only operate in that region, and they don't have an army to follow, and they'll just guard that region. So this works the same way with strategic bombers. If I were just to tell strat bombers to bomb southern England, I just click on southern England. There's no army I need to assign them to or anything like that, right? Naval bombers, you just assign them to a naval region, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Now, the last type of plane I didn't go over are transport planes. Transport planes are used for two things: paratroopers and airdropping supplies. Airdropping supplies requires a lot of airplanes, and you have to spend some command power to do it. But if you have troops that are encircled, it could save your divisions. Or say you were fighting in a land war in Asia where the infrastructure sucks and it's all mountains and you can't get supplies anywhere. That might be helpful there too to mitigate supply shortages.
Okay.
The last thing about air wings that I'm going to mention kind of ties into the naval game. Airplane station on carriers. If the carrier has a mission, the planes will just follow the carrier and help with that mission. So if your carrier's in a naval battle, the fighters will achieve air superiority, then start strafing ships. I don't know. Fighters can't attack ships. Just like, your 109s can't strafe infantry, which doesn't make sense to me. But anyhow, and your naval bombers will try and sink the enemy fleet, that sort of thing. Or if you have a fleet just kind of stationary parked off the coast, you can assign air wings from carriers as if they're an air base.
Okay.
So that's kind of a basic overview of kind of organizing fleets as well as airplanes. So I think that's good for this guide. Any questions that you have right now?
Not really.
All right. Well, we'll of course run into more of this as we play the game, but that is it for this kind of general overview, this guide. Hope for everyone back home, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I will try and respond as quickly and as accurately as possible. Again, hope this guide was helpful. If it was, please leave a like, consider subscribing to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and check out my Patreon page. Thank you all so much for watching. Until the next one, this is Mikey Panzernator signing out. See you, nerds.